guys, welcome to Survival Russia. So I think it's safe to say that this video will be a little bit different than my normal uploads, because I don't really do politics on my Survival Russia channel, right? However, I had a lot of questions from people in the comment section and on personal messages here and there about the growing tensions between NATO and Russia. There are mainly two questions. The first question is about the exercise that took place in Russia between the 4th and the 7th of October. Evacuation of 40 million people exercise, kind of a thing. Second question is Russia preparing for war or confrontation with NATO? And I will of course try and answer these questions to you guys, and I'm a little bit honored that you guys are actually asking me for information on this matter, and I will do what I can to provide that information. But before we start to answer questions here, I would like to say that for quite a while I've actually been thinking about opening up another channel, a channel dedicated to trying to sort of like bridge the gap between information and understanding on Russia's position on all these growing tension matters and Russia's position in general. As a Dane from a NATO country, I can of course follow the Western media, and in my opinion there are a lot of misinformation going on. So you can see this video as a kind of a pilot project or pilot video, test video for potentially a new channel. Okay, first question. Yes, between the 4th and the 7th of October 2016, a large-scale exercise took place in Russia with the aim of evacuating 40 million people. 200,000 specialists, 50,000 vehicles was involved in this exercise. Also the emergency management agencies took part, of course, as well as the civil defense took part in this exercise. But it's not really something out of the ordinary. It's an annual or yearly occurrence or exercise that have taken place here in 2016. And compared to 2013, the goal of evacuation there was about 60 million. So what the emergency management agencies and civil defense and so on do is during this exercise, or is one of the things are that they check up on bomb shelters, they check up on the food storage, they analyze the logistical problems, if any, on relocating such a large amount of people and so on and so forth. That was the 40 million people exercise thing or question. Next question is Russia preparing for war or conflict with the West or with NATO? Now that I'm not a spokesperson for the Russian Ministry of Defense, I can just say that what military officials say in the news and so on is that Russia is preparing to give an adequate answer if attacked by NATO. Also, I can say that if I was Minister of Defense, if I was Vladimir Putin, for example, I would consider myself pretty irresponsible if I would just sit on my hands and do nothing. In my opinion, it's a very, very likely that it could happen. Why do I think so? In the description box I will link to a description of the many NATO bases, principally or basically surrounding Russia from the far northwest to the far southeast. You can also say that Russia have been very, very rude and put the whole country so close to all these NATO bases. It's really rude of Russia, I can see that. So why do I think it's fair of Russia to be a little bit paranoid about NATO presence? We can just look at the most recent years, what happened in Ukraine, what happens in Syria at the moment, what happened in Georgia, or Georgia as it's called, not the state of Georgia in the United States, but small countries south of Russia's border. Also we can look at the general NATO expansion around Russia. I mean, in 1990, actually February 9th, 1990, the former Secretary of State James Baker gave an ironclad guarantee that NATO would not expand 1 inch if Russia would be cooperative on the German issue, meaning the reunification of East and West Germany. Russia complied, NATO kept expanding. This is not so awesome. Of course you get a little bit paranoid, especially the United States, not the American people. There are lots of good American guys out there, I know that, and I try to tell that to people as well. But the US administration took a large part in the chaos in Ukraine. And that is of course right at Russia's border. The whole revolution and liberation, or what you can call it, of Ukraine is nothing but a strike on Russia and paving the way to build a military base or NATO base or entry point into Russia. Russia cannot accept that. Russia, of course, knows that. So I can say that from my understanding, what I can pick up from news feeds and so on, yes, Russia is preparing for being attacked by NATO. Yes, of course. The rhetoric is not really great. It is like on all the other countries that NATO have screwed up recently. So I think that Russia is the grand prize for NATO, actually. Russia is an enormously rich country. Sits on 20% of the world's freshwater supplies and gold, minerals, oil, all sorts of things. In my opinion, Russia is definitely the grand prize for some of the NATO countries, unfortunately. Okay, guys, yeah, so that was Survivor Russia trying to answer your questions. Please let me know in the comment section what you feel about me starting up a new channel on these themes, and please remember to check the links in the description and so on. And as always, until next time, get out and train and get it done, and see you next time right here in Russia, hopefully. Thank you, guys.